Welcome to the Mystic Psychology Podcast. I am really happy that you are here in the space where your spirit meets your everyday life and your energy becomes your guide. I'm Charlotte and I'm here to walk beside you as you reconnect with your truth, your intuition, and the deeper layers of who you truly are. Welcome to the Mystic Psychology Podcast. I am super happy if you're here again. And if you're not, I am Charlotte. If you're here the first time, I'm an intuitive, an empath. And this is actually what the podcast will be about today, empathy. And I am the founder of the Mystic Psychology Academy, which helps people reconnect to their unique energetic gifts, but in a grounded way. And one thing I came about in all these seminars and trainings is that a lot of people who are empaths either had narcissistic parents or had emotional unavailable parents. And this is something very interesting because it's also something that happened to me. And actually, it is something that is very common. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it's for most empaths the case that they either had a narcissistic or an emotional unavailable parent. And there's a reason for it. And this is what the podcast will be about. So I will go into the topics of what is empathy, what is narcissism, what is healed empathy, and how can you live it in a very healthy way, and what does it mean in the energetic world as well. And maybe I will go into that right away. But first I want to say is that what I don't want in this podcast, because it has kind of become a trend to say, oh, this person is narcissist, this is a narcissist, this is a narcissist. And it's a trend that I don't like to follow, because I believe in self-empowerment, I believe in self-responsibility, and naming everyone as narcissist is giving away their own power. But what is really important in the aspect of being an empath is to become aware of what narcissism is and how to live a healthy empathy. And this is important, especially in energy work, because when you are a giver, when you're working as a coach, as an energy worker, as it doesn't matter, when you work with people, basically, then you tend to like to give or help or support. And if you don't want to burn out, and if you don't want to overgive and just act out of this syndrome of helping people, then you will not have a healthy way. And at the end of the day, you will feel drained. You will not really help people because you will only give away your energy, but you will not help them to actually achieve their own self-responsibility and their own way of healing and finding solutions. So finding that healthy way is very important. And to start out with empathy is, what is empathy actually? And empathy are people, or empathetic people, are people who sense a lot, that feel a lot, that can feel energies, that can feel the other person, that understand what the other person is actually going through. They sometimes have a hard time setting boundaries, and also have a hard time saying no, which belongs to boundaries. And there are people who often are caretakers, or that work with other people, or that are coaches, or that really want to share their gifts with the world. And narcissists are actually exactly the opposite. So narcissistic people, or emotional unavailable people, are people who are very self-centered. And a narcissist really is just about him or herself. She or he doesn't feel or have that empathy. They are just about manipulation and how can they gain. So they're people who like to take. As empaths are people who like to give. And narcissists are people who often gaslight other people, who manipulate other people, who emotionally withdraw themselves from other people. So, for example, they would be very charming at first and they would be very giving, like seem like as if they're very giving. And as soon as they have you, they would emotionally withdraw themselves. So they're actually emotionally unavailable for you. So when does empathy actually start? And empathy actually starts in the childhood, because when you grow up with an emotionally unavailable parent or with a narcissistic parent, then the child, what it does is it always looks after the parents and says, okay, what do I have to do next? It becomes very, very alert and very aware. Okay, how does my parent react right now? What do I have to do? What is it like? What can I do to receive love? But actually, the child never receives love and gives and gives and gives and gives and adapts and becomes gifted with the talent of empathy, because they start feeling into their parents. What do they need? What do they feel? What are they going to say next? And this also comes from one, that the parents are either emotionally abusive. So that means like they would give love, but then punish if, for example, you're not doing what what they want you to do. Or they would punish you emotionally with love withdrawal. Or the second one, physical abuse. So if you don't do what they say, what they do, they would physically abuse. Or the third thing is if they actually just, ignore and all these kind of things. So the child learns to adapt, to become aware, to become very attentive. And it happened to me the same way. So, for example, I grew up with a narcissistic and emotionally unavailable parents, and I would never know, would she now scream at me or would she not, or what is happening next, what is going to happen. So I started to become fully alert to how she reacts, how she moves through life, what she thinks, what she feels. And whatever she did, I would start already, before even something could happen, to adapt so that she would be happy, that she would be satisfied. So I gave up my whole self, my authentic self, in order just to satisfy, just to make it right. And children who are raised this way are often the nice girls or nice boys. They're often the good ones, the quiet ones, the helpful ones. Often people would say, oh, this is such a well-raised child. Well, yes, well-adapted child. So, and I was all that. So I was a nice girl, a good girl. I was the girl everybody loved and that would always be helpful, always there. So I would constantly cross my own borders in order just to receive that love. So children learn that they're not respected in their boundaries and that they cannot have boundaries. And they develop beliefs like love must be earned. I'm only lovable when I'm helpful or when I give. My needs don't matter. I have to fix others. I have to become responsible for the emotion of others, and so on and so on. So these beliefs start developing in this child. So when you grow old or older, then you look for jobs or for professions where you can actually live that. So you become helpful, so you become a giver, you become attentive, you become nice, good. And these are usually professions like energy workers, coaches, people in social environments, and so on. And this is nothing bad or anything. It's just how we were raised and conditioned. So, what happens for an empath is that there is a shadow side in that empath. And the shadow side in the empath is the narcissistic shadow side. So, the other part of yourself is looking for the attributes of narcissism, which is setting boundaries, being like completely a bit egoistic, only looking after yourself. So all these things are in an empath, but it's the shadow sides of empathy. So what we do in daily life and why we keep on being attracted to narcissists or to emotional unavailable people is because we are looking to heal our shadows. It's the gift of life to you to heal your parts in you that are still wounded from your childhood trauma, from your unconscious childhood trauma. So that means that unconsciously you're looking for a person that actually fulfills these parts in you. And that's why you're attracting them, which is the beauty of it, because this is an opportunity for you. This is the opportunity for you to heal, to start setting boundaries, to start seeing, okay, where am I overgiving? Where am I just trying to receive love and just satisfying the other person? Where am I not looking after my own needs? Where am I just giving, but not receiving? Where am I constantly listening, but I'm not listened to? Where am I constantly being there, but this person is not being there for me? So there's many aspects of that. And once you become aware of these wounds and you allow yourself to actually give yourself the opportunity to set the boundary, to love yourself, to create that centeredness in you that says, I am worthy of receiving. And that's a big one. I'm worthy of receiving. So I'm worthy of receiving. I'm worthy of my own space. I am worthy of being authentic. And I'm still being loved when I'm me. I'm not going to be punished. I'm not going to be left. And if so, then this is a gift for you, because then this person just wanted to take. So in your life, it's about healing those wounds and taking these attributes in a healthy way of what a narcissistic person embodies for themselves, setting boundaries and so on, that you can become whole. And once you embody that, and once you actually integrate that, then it becomes healthy empathy. Because then you can work from a space not of lack, the lack of I need love, I need attention, and that's why I'm giving, but from the place of, oh, I can feel with a person. I can actually relate to this person, but that at the same time, I can own and protect my energy. And this is also the point when you really become an excellent energy worker, because then you don't just give with the idea of I need to heal somebody, or with the idea of I am responsible how this person leaves my room or my practice, it's more out of the space of, yes, I'm a centered energy worker. I'm a channel for universal energy or for whatever wants to come through me as a coach or whatever. And I'm giving the person the responsibility to make the best out of it and to actually heal, because you cannot heal or help or save anyone, nobody. And as long as you think that, you will still start attracting narcissists and emotional unavailable people. And as long as you think you need to save somebody, as long as you still think that you're only deserving love and attention through giving, then you will always be in that lack and you will still start attracting these people. And actually, it's a gift, because this is the gift of always going back to your wounds, to your childhood, to your current situation. Where do I still need to give myself that love? So basically, what it comes down to is that empaths want to heal narcissists and or emotionally unavailable people. And that is also, and I know that from me, believe me, when I see the potential in people, and it's like you fall in love with a man of his potential and you think that you can heal him to this potential. No, you cannot. And it's not your responsibility in any kind of relationship, not in a masculine or feminine or in a friendship. It doesn't matter, not with your parents. This is not the way. It's about coming back to yourself and understanding that you are worthy of love and that you are worthy of receiving just the way you are without having to overgive or anything else. And the other side of it is that narcissists, they want the attention. So if you are somebody who feels good with giving and giving that attention and giving that healing and blah, 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 then narcissists will be like, ooh, this is my kind of person. Yay. Yes. So they will use that and they will manipulate you into giving more. And it could be that always to the right moment, they say something that keeps you attached. It could be that they're giving and then emotional withdrawing. So there's tons of kinds of narcissists in different ways, and you can maybe research into that topic. So I'm just really scratching that topic. But to dive more into it, if you feel the call to it. So I'm scratching it because it has been a topic in my life, but I've also seen it with so many people that work with other people and that I train. So I think this is a very important thing to look into. So how can you actually reclaim these parts of yourself again, these wounded parts from your childhood? And there is, number one, shadow work. And I made an own podcast to it, how you work with shadow work. Then there is also inner child work that you can do. I will do a podcast about inner child healing soon. Then there is just becoming aware in this moment when it happens. And that is actually the first step, because becoming aware is already when you start healing. Because, for example, today versus when I compared myself a few years ago, today I recognize it when I fall into that helper syndrome. And then in that moment where I recognize it, I stop, I take a deep breath, I just step back and become aware, what am I feeling? What am I actually, what's going on in me? Because a lot of empaths have the problem that they feel others, but they don't feel themselves. like me. So I used to have that a lot. Now, today, already, I feel myself and I feel when my boundaries are being crossed. And I'm aware, for example, that I'm very slow in feeling these boundaries. So I have to take myself time. And it's about compassion with yourself, learning about your own boundaries and becoming aware in the situation. Ah, okay, now it's happening. And then step back and say, okay, I will reconsider. What am I going to decide now? And what also helps is to become centered and grounded. So to re-energize yourself in nature, with food, with music. So there's many ways that people get centered. To create healthy boundaries. So to say no, to say stop, to say, okay, that's enough. And that is a very tough one for empaths. I know that because they feel guilty. I felt guilty. And my former mentor told me, he said to me, well, when you start saying no and creating your boundaries, you will feel very, very guilty. You will feel very uncomfortable. And it's true. I felt very guilty and uncomfortable. But it's about sitting through that feeling and understanding it has nothing to do with you. Becoming aware, no, it's that pattern from my childhood and it's not me. So becoming aware of that and setting that boundary and becoming also aware that setting the boundary will be something very uncomfortable for you at first because your nervous system has to be reprogrammed from what you are used to. So that reprogramming is like a muscle that is being trained, and that muscle takes time to be trained. And you just have to sit through that uncomfortable feeling. Then emotional stability and to actually start feeling your emotions. Because empaths are so used to feeling the emotions of others that sometimes they are not used to feeling their own emotions and they suppress the emotions. And for me, for example, for years, I was doing body work with a body practitioner. So she was really working on my body to release emotions. And she would start screaming. And I thought, what is she screaming about? There's no anger, because I didn't even feel my anger. There was so much suppressed anger that I couldn't feel, that I had no connection to, because I was so used to just feeling other people and suppressing myself. So give yourself time. And what the first step is to feeling your emotions is to name your emotions. So, for example, you are with somebody, and then you would, for example, say, now I feel sad inside, or anger, or you would just say the emotion and just become aware of it. That's the first step. But I will do more podcasts about emotional, how you can connect more to your emotions and all these kind of things. And choose the people you surround yourself with. Sounds easy, is not easy because you attract people. And the people you attract are usually the people that give you your life teachings, that give you the lessons you need, that show you where in yourself are you still wounded, where in yourself do you still have that lack. So these people show you your opportunities, but it's your self-responsibility to actually take the lesson out of that relationship, to take that lesson from that friendship, to take that lesson from your boss or whoever surrounds you. So become aware why people are in your life. What are they teaching you? What lessons are they bringing to your life? And then stop overgiving, which also has to do with boundaries. But become aware when you're just like coming into that pattern of giving because you feel bad or you feel like you have to give in order to deserve something. So these are just scratching the top of this topic, because there's many psychotherapists and psychiatric people that go into real depths, books and books written about that topic. And my wish for this podcast was that you start becoming aware of, where am I just falling into my old patterns of empathy, and that there's something like healthy empathy and unhealthy empathy, and that there's hidden parts in you, shadow parts in you, that really want attention and that really want to become a part of you. And that's why you're attracting maybe narcissists or emotional unavailable people in your life. So thank you for being here. I see you, I feel you, and I hear you. And I hope that you leave me a comment, because I'm very, very, very eager to know what your thoughts about that topic, what your experiences with that topic, what questions you have about that topic. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, for your time, for listening, and showing up for your own personal path. If something touched you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. And make sure to subscribe and get my weekly newsletter. You can always go deeper at mystic-psychology.com or find me on Instagram. I'd really love to connect to you in person, read your comments and messages. So until next time, stay close to your soul and trust what you feel, follow your intuition, and I can't wait to connect with you again.